Hello, welcome back to another CD collection video. This is part 10. Fuck, we're at 10 already, that's crazy. Anyway, let's get on with the video. We all know how this goes by now. So first up we have Eminem with the Eminem Show, released in 2002. This is his fourth studio album. Released on May 26th, originally scheduled for the 4th of June, but it got bootlegged. So, this album is amazing and I love it. It took me a while to get into it, but I eventually got there. Top songs on here for me were White America, Business, Cleaning Out My Closet, When the Music Stops, Till I Collapse, and My Dad's Gone Crazy. Worst songs were Square Dance and Superman. Features off here are Dr. Dre, obviously, who also produced the album. Nate Dogg, rest in peace, D12, and his daughter, Haley Jade. Overall, the perfect closure to his trilogy albums. So you had Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show as the trilogy albums of Eminem. Very, very dope album. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. So Eminem with the Eminem Show, released in 2002. Very dope album. Next up we have Ed Sheeran with Edition, released in 2011. This is his debut album. Not going to go through the history of Ed Sheeran because everyone knows who he is by now. This album spawned 6 singles, those being The A-Team, You Need Me, I Don't Need You, Lego House, Drunk, Small Bump, and Give Me Love. This album is great to start to Ed's career as a pop star and is very good with very few complaints, if any. Top songs on here for me were The A-Team, Uni, Wake Me Up, and Lego House. Worst songs were You Need Me, I Don't Need You, and Give Me Love / The Parting Glass. Very soothing, 7.5 out of 10. So Ed Sheeran with the Edition album, released in 2011. Very dope album. Just let me go and change the song. Alright. Next album. Got Dr. Dre with Compton After Dark. This is a fan-made album, released in 2016. Compton After Dark is a fan-made album, as I said, with the bonus album released in 2016, following the original Compton, released in 2015, which was his third album. There are no singles off here. Features include Corrupt, Sky Keaton, T.I., Justice, The DOC, Marshall Ambrosius, Stat Quo, 50 Cent, LL Cool J, Exhibit, and EUF, Snoop Dogg, Nature, and Nas. The album is a great collection of songs. I think were originally written for other projects, but never obviously made the cut. For example, the song One in a Million, featuring Exhibit and EUF, was recorded in 2004 for either Appetite for Destruction or Massive Weapons of Mass Destruction. But it is a great song nonetheless. I don't think there is any Dr. Dre on that track. Top songs on here for me were Mystic River, Business, The Way We Came Up, One in a Million, OG to BG, and Everyday Thing. Worst song was Naked. Overall, legit or not, shit is hot. 7.5 out of 10. And the cover for the album is the original Compton cover, but it's at nighttime, which should have been used for the original album. There was a instrumental version of that album that came out, which actually had that cover. I reckon it should have been used for the original album, because that cover is a lot better than the one for the original album. Anywho, just let me go and change the song. Alright. Next album, Eminem with the Marshall Mathers LP2, released in 2013. I've had this for 13 years. It's his 8th album. It serves as a sequel to his 3rd album, Marshall Mathers LP, released in 2000, which is the better of the two. Not to say this is shit, but the original one's better, and is my favourite album, by the way. Several producers off here, which are Dr. Dre, Rick Rubin, served as the executive producers for the Marshall Mathers LP2. It features guest appearances from Skylar Grey, Rihanna, Nate Ruess, Kendrick Lamar, among others. This album was amazing, and wasn't as good as the original, but it's got some great tracks on here. Alongside a preview of its lead single, Berserk, it was followed by 2 more singles, which were Survival and Rap God, which is a great song, that Rap God song. The Monster, featuring Rihanna, was released as the album's 4th single and is reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart thing. The album's 5th single Headlights, featuring Nate Ruess, was released in 2014. Top songs on here for me were Bad Guy, Rhyme or Reason, So Much Better, Survival, Legacy, Arsehole, Berserk, Rap God. Oh no, sorry, Berserk was one of the worst songs. It's not terrible. I also like Rap Game, Headlights, and Evil Twin. And So Far. But yeah, dope album, Eminem with the Marshall Mathers LP2, released in 2013. No, I'll keep that playing, actually. Next album is Dr. Dre's third album, Compton, released in 2015. It was a soundtrack to the movie, which basically means that Dre has only put out 2 albums, The Chronic and The Chronic 2001. It says this is his third, but there are theories to suggest otherwise. This was a soundtrack for the movie Straight Outta Compton, based on the legacy of NWA, a hip-hop group from Compton, California, in the late 80s. The album definitely lives up to expectations. I really do like this album. Features off here, you've got King Mez, Justice, Kendrick Lamar, Marsha Ambrosius, Candace Pillay, BJ the Chicago Kid, Anderson .Paak, Kendrick Lamar, if I already hadn't said him, Exhibit, Cold 187, Sly Piper, Ice Cube, which I believe is the first time Ice Cube's ever made an appearance on a Dr. Dre album. John Connor's on here, Snoop Dogg, The Game, and Asia Bryant, Jill Scott, Eminem's also on here. Yeah, there's so many features off here, and yeah, I really do like the album. Top songs on here for me were Talk About It, Dark Side / Gone, Loose Cannons, Issues, Deep Water, and Talking to My Diary. The worst songs were Genocide and Satisfaction. Overall, healing music, 9 out of 10. So, Dr. Dre with Compton, released in 2015. Very dope album. Just let me go and change the song. Alright. Next up is DMX with Year of the Dog Again. This was released in 2006. It's his 6th album, and features guest appearances from... I cannot read anything off the back of this. Features guest appearances from Busta Rhymes, Styles P, Amir, Jadakiss, Swizz Beats, Big Stars, Big Stan, Bizarre Royal, Kashmir, Janice, and Jinx. The album is pretty average in my opinion, half and half. I like the first 10 tracks, but the rest, haven't got really much to say about this. I do like the album, but it's a bit mediocre in my opinion. Nothing special. Top songs on here for me were We In Here, I Run Shit, Come Through, Give 'Em What They Want, and the worst songs were Life, Be My Song, Blown Away, and Goodbye. Overall, nothing special, 6.5 out of 10. So, DMX with the Year of the Dog again, released in 2006. Very mediocre album. Next up is Eminem with Encore, released in 2004. This album is terrible, straight up. It's his 5th album, obviously including Infinite. It's definitely the weakest in his catalogue. It definitely did not grab my attention at all. Though there are some solid tracks on here, it just wasn't... It just isn't interesting. Top tracks on here for me were Evil Deeds, Never Enough, Like Toy Soldiers, Mosh, Puke, and Encore. The worst songs were I also liked Mockingbird, Crazy in Love, One Shot, Two Shot, and the Encore song. Worst songs were my first single, Ass Like That. I'd say Just Lose It, only because I've heard that song so many times. I just got sick of it. Rain Man and Big Weenie, which apparently was supposed to be a diss track towards Benzino at the time. Overall, 5 out of 10. I don't hate this album, but I definitely did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So, Encore by Eminem, released in 2004. Very mediocre. Terrible album, actually. Next up, we have more music from 8 Mile, released in 2002. This is just the compilation album of songs from different artists. Obviously, the songs are on the artists' actual albums. These were the songs that were actually played in the film. This was released a few months after the actual soundtrack. Is the sequel soundtrack to the movie's original, consisting of songs that appear in the film and were released as singles during the film's time setting of 1995. One of the songs, performed by Tupac, was performed by Tupac, who would be the subject of a documentary with the soundtrack produced by Eminem, who also produced a posthumous album by Tupac, that being Loyal to the Game, which I've yet to hear. The album is a success and is a great collection of songs from various artists. And the songs are all a smash, with and would appear on the studio albums such as Biggie's Juicy track being from his debut album, Ready to Die, and Shook Ones Part 2 from Mobb Deep's Infamous. Top songs on here for me were the Shook Ones Part 2 song, the Juicy song, which has that famous line about the World Trade Center. Gotta Get Mine, Get Money, and Cream. Worst songs were I'll Be There For You and I'll Be There For You, You're All I Need. Okay. Overall, a great follow-up to the original. Not as good, obviously, but yeah, 8.5 out of 10. So, more music from 8 Mile, released in 2002. Very dope compilation. One, two, three, four. Got 4 albums to go after this. Next up is The Game with the Blood Moon Year of the Wolf album. This is a compilation album and is the second one by The Game, released in 2014. The album was supported by 2 singles, those being Bigger Than Me and All Nah. The album is packed with features. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some are Yo Gotti, 2 Chainz, Soulja Boy, T.I., Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, King Marie, Ty Dolla $ign, French Montana, Sam Hook, Dub, Stacey Barth, Jake and Papa, Tiger, Eric Bellinger, Too Short, Problem, and more features. I was quite skeptical about listening to this one, and rightly so. This album was all over the place. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't a great album. I liked about 5 more songs than I didn't like, which isn't really saying much. I only liked 10 out of the 16. It really just wasn't a likable album. I don't hate it, but it's just a letdown in my opinion. Top songs were Bigger Than Me, Fun, which I believe stands for Fuck You Ends. Really, Married to the Game, which is the only decent song on here. The Purge, Trouble, On My Mind, Cell Phone, Best Head Ever, Hit 'Em Hard, and Bloody Moon. The worst songs were Fuck Your Feelings, Or Nah, Take That, Food for My Stomach, weird sounding title, and Black on Black. Overall, half and half yet again. I really only like 10 out of the 16 tracks. Yes, it's more songs than less, but all the songs I like are mediocre to say the least. 7 out of 10. This really was not a good one. Blood Moon Year of the Wolf by The Game, released in 2014. Just do I change the song? Next up, we have Forte with 7 Days a Week, released in 2020. This is his 13th album. It has no guest appearances at all. And yeah, it's a very, very dope album. Singles, I believe, were Belong to the Game and Never Change. It is the shortest in his discography with only 7 tracks, clocking into only 20 minutes, which I suspect is to represent each day of the week, hence the album title. I really did enjoy the album. Despite its length, but it's great to hear Fort with no features for a change. Not to say Fort with features is a shit idea, but I just didn't really... Some features that he works with just don't do their thing. Majority of them do, but nah. Top songs on here for me were Belong to the Game, Ain't Likely to Leave, and Never Change. The worst song was Lucky I'm High. Overall, if you're in walking distance of a, and you have a shop near you, stick this album in your ears and listen to it. It's very, very dope. This album is a 10 out of 10 album for me. So, Forte with 7 Days a Week, released in 2020. He releases about, 3-4 albums a year, which is nuts. Next up is Hilltop Hoods with Left Foot, Right Foot, released in 2001. This is their second album after A Matter of Time, released in 1999. The album is Hilltop Hood's second studio album, as I said. Was released without a label. Features include Coolism, DJ Bones, Mass MC, Fat Face, and DJ Reflux. I got no idea who those people are. The album has no singles. The album was a good and was a great album and revolutionized Oz rap, in my opinion. I loved it, although it does have some dud tracks, but was a banger nonetheless. Top songs on here for me were the Soul of the Beat, the title track, Left Foot, Right Foot, Immortal MC's What the Seasons Change, Another World, When I'm Leaving, When I'm Leaving, Sideways, and Don't Stop, Tolerance Levels, and Omega. The worst songs were Are You Ready, Running from the Storm, Distortion, Evolution Remix, Elevation Remix, Sohorn, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Immortal MC's remix. Overall, Oz rap in its prime, 8 out of 10. So, Left Foot, Right Foot by Hilltop Hoods, released in 2001. Very dope album. Just let me go and change the song. Alright. And to end off the video, we have Forte again with Can't Sell Drugs Forever, released in 2016. This is his 7th album. Singles were Shot Caller, Random Round, and Do It. Fort yet again details struggles and success with this album. I would say it's my 3rd favourite, if not in my top 5. Features off here include Cursor, Monster Ganja, Sky High, Redback, Defiant, and yeah, those were the features off here. I also like the cover. It's a saddy bag that you would normally put marijuana in, or any other type of drug, but it's got a disc in it. It's a Glad wrap bag. Obviously, it's a picture, not a real one. But yeah, top songs on here for me were Do It, Shot Caller, Getaway 2, Invisible, When the Music Stops, which is what's playing in the background, Up to You, and Just a Memory. Worst song was Don't Go, only because I feel that he's not actually rapping on that track. But yeah, overall yet another classic, 8 out of 10. So Can't Sell Drugs Forever, released in 2016 by Forte. Very dope album. And that's going to do it for the day. Stay well, stay blessed. Look out for part 11. And yeah, peace.